What's up everybody, Dan here with Dan and Sarah Makers, and welcome back to another video in our garden shed build series. We are almost done with our floor system, got just a little bit of blocking to do, then we're going to go grab some plywood, we're going to deck this thing and start on walls. So I'm really excited about today. This should be progressing, looking more like a build and not just playing in dirt. So super excited about that. We've got a few little tips and tricks that I'm going to show you here, and just sit back and enjoy. So for now, we don't know if we've got a sponsor for today's video or not, but when we do, we will let you know. Every now and again, you'll run into a situation where you've got to install blocking with wood blocking into steel studs. The majority of that time would be for installing bathroom hardware, cabinets, things like that, if you're doing commercial construction. When you do that, there are a couple different ways of installing blocking. Obviously, here's a steel stud, and normally they would be in a vertical position like this. Sometimes you will put steel or wood blocking, on the flat, so you'd be exposed to the 1.5-inch vertical portion in the steel stud. When you do that, you would flush it out to whatever side you're interested in, and you would put some self-tapping screws through the stud into the wood. Other times, you'll have to do your wood blocking on the flat, or the vertical, where you would have cabinets or something like that going in. That, as you see, the steel stud has a C-channel profile, creates a problem where your wood blocking isn't flushing out with your stud itself. So just kind of a simple trick that I would do, and let me grab a scrap piece. A simple thing that I would do is I would figure out approximately where that lip is. I'd draw a line, figure out approximately how deep that is, that C-channel portion. And we're looking at just a smidge under 1/2 inch or so. So I'd take my saw, I'd set it to approximately 1/2 inch. You can double check that. Just a hair deeper. And then I'd cut that line. That will now allow me, when I put my blocking in, this steel stud has a pretty rough cut on the end. When I put my blocking in, I can screw through the face of the steel stud here and into the blocking, and it sits down in that channel and it flushes out a lot better. If you're really, really picky, you can take a planer and plane an 1/8 inch or a 1/16, whatever, off the surface of this tab on the end here to get it absolutely flush. Obviously, on the other side of the stud bay, it's just wherever it lands and it's fine. So you don't have to worry about notching both ends of your vertical blocking. Horizontal blocking, it's a little bit different, but basically what I want to do is I'm going to put my blocks in like this. I'll make a line approximately where that tab is, and I'll do something pretty similar. On this, I think I want it to flush out a little better. It may not need to. I don't think I will. But I'll just cut that channel there, and then when I install my blocking, it'll slide up in there. And it might be a little bit of a challenge because you'll have to probably rotate it in and spread these flanges out just a little bit. But I only have to do it on one side because the steel stud's slightly larger than my wood blocking. I've got 3 of these little blocks to do. I've already got one marked, so I am going to mark across all 3. I've got my saw set to depth, as you just saw. Kind of repetitive sounding there. And when I install the blocking, it'll just rotate in there and sit inside that that groove, just like that. And I'll tap it into place and we'll be locked in. The time has finally come to cover up our awesome floor system with plywood. It is time to get a floor down. So we are gonna use this opportunity to square up the floor the final little bit, make sure it's good to go, and we will screw it down. We're gonna use just regular, probably drywall screws around the perimeter where there's wood, and then we're gonna use some of these self-tapping tight thread screws to screw the plywood down to the studs or steel joists.
Today's video is brought to you by Silver Colored Screw, without which this build would not be possible. Thank you, Silver Colored Screw.
To do the final square up of our foundation to make sure it stays where we want it, we're going to take this first piece of sheeting, screw it down in the very corner so it's exactly where we want it. Then we're going to get this other corner pinned and maybe a couple other spots here, and then we'll have a nice big lever arm that we can use on the other end of the plywood to square it up with the foundation, because the plywood is square. So those are just the standard drywall screw. Now I'm going to pin the ends of the joist here.
Those are the cutter point ones,
yeah,
right?
the self-tapping. Sometimes the top flange of these studs can roll. So I've marked it so I can get them plumb. Dropping screws. So that one, I think, burned. Yeah. These can get very hot. All right. So
Is that good?
yeah.
Any words?
So you see how I've got tape at the 36, 12, and 24 marks on that T-square?
Yes.
So if you did that,
Oh, you want me to mark those?
well, you could just do a little tick, tick, tick,
Oh,
and then we don't have
okay.
lines all over the deck. Not
Yeah.
that that's a problem.
okay. I see.
All right, for this next sheet, it's going to overhang. Do we have a preference on which sheet we want to use?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to use that one.
Rotate it 180?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Still lining up nicely.
Yeah.
Good. Did I miss something?
No. Typically when you're laying flooring, just if you put in reference tick marks on your joists before you screw them down, that way if the joist starts wavering and going off on you, that helps you make sure that the joist is in the right spot.
Yep.
And you kind of kick it and push it and you have 4 feet of wiggle.
Okay.
So what's the next piece that we want to install?
Probably the one in the back.
Okay. And where do we want that?
Here.
Okay.
And I'm just looking at how it is. And I think I'd rotate it.
180 degrees.
Yeah, I'll do it. Put it in. trim this.
So we'll trim that edge down there. So we'll
Okay.
break it on this stud.
Yeah, okay.
So I would like to do definitely the front wall as a single wall from corner to corner.
Okay.
This wall can be in between, back wall, probably corner to corner, and this wall in between.
Okay.
The main driving factor of having this as a full wall and that as a full wall is that this wall definitely, with as many openings in it as we have, I want to maximize the length of it, and I don't want to reduce any bit here.
Okay.
So,
It'll be easier to calculate our centers for the windows and the door as well.
yeah. And this one, we're probably going to be doing pretty much all wood.
Yeah.
Hopefully we have all enough to do it.
Well, I know where we can get more.
We'd have to run the mill again
Oh, bummer.
and cut down another tree.
No, we wouldn't. We got a tree right there.
Oh yeah, that's true. I was thinking of the long pieces, like the 15 footers, but we should have enough, the 15 footers, to do the plates and the ridge still.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Okay.